First, we want to ask you, how do you plan to deploy this latest injection of capital? Where is it going to go and how will it help you?
Yeah, so first off, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it and excited for the opportunity to chat with you. So following this round, we're really going to be focused on two key things. First and foremost, we are focused on launching satellites that we have in our backlog for our customers. So we've booked over 30 satellites that we are set to launch over the next couple years. We've been investing in our production scale, in our automation, in our fleet management capabilities. So we're really focused on deploying these satellites rapidly for our customers who have entrusted us with their missions to get to space. And then the second thing we're focused on is actually more of a forward-leaning nascent market, but that's the ability to fly our customers' AI applications in space. So we have a lot of customers who are not content on just collecting data. They actually want to make their satellites a lot smarter so that things can be detected in real time. And so to do that, they are developing AI apps, and Loft is enabling them to deploy those apps to our satellites as easily as you deploy software to the cloud. So we're not the application layer, but we're really the infrastructure layer, the servers in space, if you will, that allow those apps to function.
AI knows no bounds, not even Earth. I'm interested, Alex, what your customers ultimately want to achieve by going to space. NASA, Microsoft, US Space Force, the European Space Agency, what are they using your low Earth orbit satellites to really achieve?
There's really three fundamental things that we're enabling with our satellites. So we're not focused on one specific application. We're an infrastructure company that enables our customers to deploy any mission in orbit. But it really comes down to three things. There is connectivity and data, there's national security and sovereignty, and then there's understanding our climate. So we have customers across all three of those areas, but that's fundamentally what space is being used for today. And those are pretty big problems that are impacting all of humanity.
You've raised a lot of money, a lot of French VCs involved, given the CEO himself is French. But I'm interested as to the competitive nature of space right now and the fact that someone very close to the next administration is pretty prevalent when it comes to SpaceX. How are you finding your niche? How are you seeing the industry evolve?
Absolutely. So taking a step back, we started the company 8 years ago. My co-founders and I had worked in the industry for a while. And what we saw is that it just took too long to get satellites in space. So it can take up to 5 years from when you kick off a satellite mission to when it actually launches. And for an industry that needs to iterate quickly, that has to innovate, that has to provide real value to customers, 5 years is just way too slow. And so we set out to start Loft to get customers to space in months, not years, and be the fastest, most reliable, and just simplest way for customers to get to space. So that's really where we differentiate. And I think today, what you're seeing is commercial space is entering a golden age. I think there's no better time to be a space company. Luckily, we've been building this company for 8 years. We've raised over $300 million of venture capital over that time. We now have over $500 million of aggregate contract value over the life of the company since inception with some of the customers that you mentioned. And so we're really ready to focus on scaling over the next few years.
Alex, Caroline referred to Elon Musk and his proximity to the president. And of course, his SpaceX is one of the biggest presences in the entire field. Now, what sort of opportunity do you see the incoming administration offering you in terms of expanded business, and also what sort of challenge?
Yeah, well, so first off, SpaceX is really changed the game in space by, I wouldn't say making launch a solved problem, but certainly by lowering the barrier for companies like us to get to space. So we're really thankful for SpaceX and their contribution to the industry. I think, this incoming administration has a history of being very friendly towards commercial space. So budgets that we rely on for our customers are certainly going to go up, and that's very good for us. But I think space is more than just a U.S. issue. It's actually a global issue. Loft has an office in Toulouse, France, and that enables us to do business with customers in France, both in government and the commercial side, as well as in the broader European Union. So that's in Europe, but we also see demand for space from countries that don't really have their own native industrial base, but want to have more sovereignty over their space infrastructure. So a few months ago, we actually announced a joint venture in the UAE, where we've created the very first company in the Middle East dedicated to high-volume satellite production. That's a joint venture with an excellent partner in the UAE, and the first satellites will be built in the UAE starting in 2026.
Alex, do you foresee expanding more into the area of national security and defense that really does seem to be a theme of some of the other Silicon Valley investors who have aligned themselves with Trump, and they do see some opportunity. Do you as well with the Pentagon and intelligence agencies?
Absolutely, and we actually already have. So I think we have over $100 million of contract value in the aggregate with U.S. defense customers. We, a couple years ago, set up a subsidiary called Loft Federal that has the ability to do work with classified customers that's based in Colorado. So we are very focused on the U.S. government, both on the civil side and the defense side, as a key customer for us. We've set up the company to be able to serve that customer, and we're really excited for the fact that they've embraced commercial space over the last couple of years, and we see that as a trend that's going to continue and increase.